reason number two is because it's the professional educator's job to introduce academics. So before I read the next bit about a YouTube video that I watched from Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire, let me just go back to that quote so we can see, was she over exaggerating? And she said, we have a major problem in education, not just here in Tennessee, but across the country, where they are indoctrinating our children with propaganda. Teachers are pushing social justice instead of reading, writing, and math, and they don't want to be held accountable to the parents. So, I watched a video and it was entitled, Teachers Are Afraid That You'll Hear Them Brainwashing Your Kids. And I want to just read a few of the things that were in the article or that were in the video. I want you to look at the link in the bottom of this, the description of this video. It'll give you more information. You get to watch the video. So I'm going to be reading some tweets, but in the video it actually shows you the tweets plus the people who tweeted and even more information in more detail. So if you're really interested in that, you're going to want to look at that. Well, let's start with the first one. From an instructor. I'm not sure what he instructs children on, what age range he's working with, but let's hear what he says. So this fall, virtual class discussions will have many potential spectators, parents, siblings, etc., in the same room. We'll never be quite sure who is overhearing the discourse. What does this do for our equity inclusion work /inclusion work? How much have students depended on the somewhat secure barriers of our physical classrooms to encourage vulnerability? How many of us have installed some version of what happens here stays here to help this? While conversations about race are in my wheelhouse and remain a concern in this no walls environment, I am most intrigued by the damage that helicopter /snowplow parents can do in honest conversations about gender /sexuality. And while conservative parents are my chief concern, I know that the damage can come from the left too. If we are engaged in the messy work of destabilizing a kid's racism or homophobia or transphobia, how much do we want their classmates' parents piling on? So, when I think of school, and especially when I was younger, when I thought of sending kids to school, it was always a discussion of math, reading, writing, social studies, geography, different things like that, playing. It was not about these things. I mean, he's in here concerned about ethnic discrimination. He's concerned about people practicing a homosexual lifestyle. He's concerned about gender dysphoria. He's concerned about things that are not in his realm of education or of his realm of interaction with other people's children. And how do we know this? Because he's being elusive about what's actually going on in the classroom. If he were teaching some gender studies and parents actually sent their children, it would be a total different story. But he's concerned that parents, who are the first and best advocates, are going to find out what he and his comrades are doing in the classroom. Now I want to go on and talk to you about some of the responses that were given. Someone says, I've been thinking about this too. Regarding pronouns, I was going to ask students via survey who I could use their pronouns in front of. But what if caregivers view that survey and students aren't out to them yet? So they're promoting secrets. They're promoting discussing some of the most sensitive conversations with other people's children in secret. Now I know that teachers are designated, I can't remember what it's called, but they are obligated to report abuse and different things like that. But this is definitely going overboard. Some of these teachers talk about, kids, sharing with their teachers because they can't share with their parents, which it's kind of borderline. We're giving them a lot of power. Another teacher responds, that they are telling their students to type their secrets in the chat. Another teacher says, in my district, we already had a white parent record their child's Zoom meeting and file a complaint against the teacher. Now, that's the parent's responsibility to keep an eye on what's going on with their children and to file complaints if they see that something is wrong. It doesn't matter their ethnicity. It doesn't matter their socioeconomic status. They have the right to discuss what's going on with their children. They have a right to know what's going on with their children. It is their responsibility to care for their children. Then another poster said they wanted to share information in a parentless way. And they said another person said parents are dangerous. This is so counterintuitive to the way life is actually supposed to be. It's a very sad state of affairs. And I want to ask the question, what does this have to do with reading, writing, arithmetic, geography, or even SAT prep? The answer is it has nothing to do with it. And I want to go back and just read that quote. Across the country, they are indoctrinating our children with propaganda. Is it true? Do you think it's true? Let's look at this. Because our scores are showing something. They're showing where the focus actually lies. The National Assessment of Educational Progress is a congressionally mandated project administered by the National Center for Education Statistics, consists of assessments in various subject areas. They have math, science, civics, geography, history, and so many other things. 4th grade, 8th grade, and 12th grade. And they base it on performance on the context of gender, ethnicity, public or private school, teacher experience, and so many other things. So it's very interesting that when we look at these statistics, we have things like 35% of 4th graders and 34% of 8th graders performed at or above NAEP proficient in reading. Now, this isn't gifted and talented, this is just proficient. And we see that at 4th grade, we had higher scores than at 8th grade. So what's actually happening? We have another statistic that says no score change for the lowest performing students compared to 1992. This is in 2017. Scores for students performing at the 10th percentile at both grades did not improve compared to 1992, and they declined since 2017. Another one says 17 states at grade 4 and 31 states at grade 8 had score declines in reading compared to 2017. These declines reflect the national score decrease of 1 point at grade 4 and 3 points at grade 8. Again, I have these linked in the video, the pages for the actual video, YouTube channel, and also the NAEP scores. These are things that really do need to be considered. And so now we're on to number 3.